Today we're going to do our competition pulled pork. Now when we start for a competition, we want to start by getting a really high quality Boston butt. And we've got one here that weighs about 7 pounds. I like them to weigh between 7 and 8 pounds. And what we're going to do is we're going to take and trim the butt up. And you can see this one's really nice, got a lot of fat marbled through it, which is what you want. We're going to take and start by trimming it. And I always take this flap of meat off the top of it. Just start right where the fat line is and just take this piece. We're going to take this piece completely off of the butt. All right, when we turn in our pulled pork, we're going to do two things. We're going to take and slice off what we call the money muscle here, and take and slice that, and then we're going to take pulled chunks out of the remainder. So we want to take this money muscle and we want to get as much of this fat out of it as we can, so that when we get through cooking it and we start to slice it, we don't have a lot of fat left in it. So we'll just trim this up nice and get as much of that fat as we can out of it. And it doesn't bother me to take out a few of the little muscles. There's quite a few little muscles in this section of the pork butt, and don't be afraid to just take some of those out. What we want to end up with then is a really nice trimmed up money muscle that from the outside doesn't look like it has a lot of fat, but there's a tremendous amount of fat in this section of the pork butt, and so that muscle will stay really nice and moist and tender for us. One thing we want to make sure of is in this money muscle there is a gland right here, and we want to make sure that we get that taken out of the piece of meat, because no matter what you do to it, it will never turn out being a good piece to eat. And once we finish trimming the money muscle, then we'll trim on the other side a little bit. Now we've got the money muscle trimmed up, we'll trim up in this area right here, and kind of the flap between the blade and the bone. And we just take out some of that. One of the things you have to be careful about is that you have to cook the pork butt whole. And if you're not careful when you're trimming this, you can actually separate those two muscles. And so we want to make sure that we don't do that. And once we get it all trimmed up here, then we will inject it. Now we have our pork butt all trimmed up. We'll set it aside, and we're going to mix up our injection. So we're going to inject this pork butt using butcher's pork injection, and we're not going to follow his instructions exactly, but pretty close. To inject one butt, we need about 3/8 of a cup of the injection mix. We're only going to use a half a cup of water, and then we're also going to use a half a cup of peach nectar. And we'll get this mixed up, and then we'll inject this into the pork butt. We're now going to inject the butt, and we'll just take our mixture of our injection. And what we want to do is we want to inject it about in 1-inch sections apart. And we just want to take, and as you push the injector in and you slightly pull it out, then just push in your plunger and put your injection into it. Pork takes injection really well, and you'll be able to see the muscles actually swell up as you inject it. Don't inject the money muscle quite as heavy as I do the rest of it, because it's such a porous muscle that it tends to take almost too much injection. And we'll flip it over and do the other side. And so for a 7-pound pork butt, we'll get almost just about a cup of liquid into it. And then we'll get a nice peachy flavor from this injection, along with the really rich pork flavor that we get from the butcher's injection, along with just a lot of moisture that we'll retain in the meat from the injection. So there's our pork butt injected, and now we'll season it. I always start at a competition and do my pulled pork first. And what I like to do is start about 2 in the afternoon, get the pork butt trimmed up and then injected, and then we're going to season it with the Fast Eddie all-purpose seasoning, which is a great pork seasoning. And we'll let this then rest for about 6 hours. It really helps it to develop those flavors. And so we'll take our Fast Eddie rub and we'll get this fairly heavily seasoned. We want a lot of seasoning on it. And we want to make sure that we get seasoning on all sides of the pork butt. And once we get it nice and seasoned, we'll put it in a pan, and that'll go into the refrigerator then until we get ready to put it in the smoker. Our pork butt is now rested for 6 hours, and we're ready to get it into the smoker. We're going to cook it in the FEC100, and we're going to set the controls up for 8 hours at 180 degrees. We're going to be using hickory pellets, and we'll set the cook temperature at 180 for 8 hours. And then we're going to set the hold temperature at 250 so that it finishes the pork butt up at the 250 degrees. The 180 will give us a really nice smoke flavor, and we'll see a really deep smoke ring in this as it smokes for 8 hours at that 180 degrees. We are getting ready to build our competition box. We cook typically out on the Kansas City Barbecue Society cook-off circuit, which allows you to put either parsley or cilantro or green leaf lettuce into your box. I personally like to build a parsley box, and so we'll show you how we do that. It's a pretty simple process. We take our parsley and we just take and kind of put the heads of it together so that they all come out at about the same height. And we'll want to take quite a few of them. And once we get kind of a handful of those, we'll take and just twist them around until the stems break off, and then we'll just lay those into our box. And we'll go around and complete the whole box doing that procedure. So we pulled our pork at right at 200 degrees internal temperature. What we're going to do now is we're going to slice the money muscle off so that we can do slices of that, and then we'll pull portions of it to give us some nice bark and color in the box. So we're just going to take and follow right along our line there for our money muscle. You can see how we have a really nice pretty smoke ring in there, and that's a really nice pretty piece of meat. So we'll set that aside, and we'll go ahead and pull some pieces off of our other side. And basically what we want to do is we want to get some of this nice bark, and we want to get some of these pieces so that we can put those in the box. Once we get this box built, we're fortunate here at Cookshack to have a master judge that judges quite a bit out on the KCBS circuit. And so we're going to ask Bill Weiss, when we get this box built, to come in and judge it for us. So what we want to do is we just want to get some of these really nice pretty pieces that have little bark on them. That bark's really going to have a lot of flavor in it from our seasonings. And we're going to make a little pile of those. And as long as you have really good pieces put in there, I like to fill the box up as much as I can. We're going to use those as our pulled portion. Now we'll set this aside. And we'll go ahead and slice our money muscle. And we want to slice this into 6 pieces. And once we get our 6 pieces, we want to kind of put it back together. Because we're going to put this into our box then. Kind of all put back together. So it looks nice and pretty there. Then we'll take our chunks and lay those right in the front of the box. And that will be our box that we'll turn in. This is Bill Weiss, and Bill's one of our customer service reps here at Cookshack. Bill's also a master judge out on the Kansas City Barbecue Society circuit. And so we built this box and thought we'd ask Bill to come in here and judge it for us. So, Bill, if you'd like to take a look at this box here and tell us what you think.
Well, usually this is blind judging. I don't have to judge my boss's box to his face, but the first thing we check when we're looking at the box is for appearance. And the way I judge appearance, does this look good enough that I want to eat it? And I say yes. I like the chunks and the slices, so I would give that a 9 on appearance. And then comes the fun part. When we're judging, we judge if there's 2 presentations, we judge both presentations. If you'd have pulled some, I would have tried that too. But flavor's pretty good. I'd give it a 9 on taste, and I think an 8 on tenderness. It could be just a little bit more tender, but 9.98, that's not a bad score.
Thank you, Bill. Appreciate those good comments. It's nice for people to get a feel for how the judges actually go about judging, so we appreciate that a lot. If you'd like more information about Cookshack, just give us a call at 1-800-423-0698 or visit us on the web at cookshack.com.